I knew the moment David carried his last box into our bedroom that something terrible was about to happen. He dropped the box at the foot of the bed and smiled at me, the innocent, hopeful smile of a man who believed love could fix anything. I wished I could mirror it, but my throat tightened the second his eyes shifted toward the bed, that bed, the one I swore I'd never let anyone sleep on again. He touched the duvet lightly, admiring it. "Sophie, this is perfect." Perfect if only he knew. I moved quickly, stepping between him and the mattress. "Not there, you can't lie down on that bed." His face creased in confusion. "Why, did something happen?" Yes, something happened, and it never stopped happening, but I swallowed the truth like poison. "It's not ready," I blurted. "The frame is loose, the left side dips, I need to fix it." A weak lie, but it was all I had. David laughed softly. "Babe, we've been dating for a year, married for 2 months. You think I care about a loose bed frame? Come on, let me just try it." He tried to move past me. I grabbed his arm harder than I meant to. "David, I'm serious." The smile faded. His eyes searched mine, waiting for an explanation I couldn't give. Because how do you tell your husband something he'll never believe? That the bed has a presence, that it watches, that it sits on the left side like it's waiting. I held my breath as he stepped back reluctantly, lifting his hands in surrender. "All right, I won't touch it tonight." That small victory lasted 5 seconds. Because just as he turned to leave, the mattress behind me dipped, slow, heavy, deliberate, like someone sat down. And we were alone in the rooms. By morning, David had convinced himself the dip was nothing. A shifting mattress, bad wood, his imagination. I envied that, his ability to rationalize the irrational. I lost that ability years ago on the night everything changed. Over breakfast, he brought it up casually. "So, am I allowed to sleep on my own bed tonight?" My heart jerked, no, not yet. He looked at me like I had insulted him. "Sophie, it's my bed too." "Not that one," I whispered. He dragged his spoon against the plate, the sound sharp enough to make my teeth ache. "You're hiding something, and I'm trying to stay calm because I love you, but you have to tell me why I'm not allowed to sleep in my own bedroom." I opened my mouth, nothing came out. Every truth I could offer sounded insane. "Because something sits on the left side." "Because it whispers. Because if you sleep there, it will choose you." I wiped my hands on my skirt. "It's complicated." He laughed bitterly. "You think." I didn't blame him, I wouldn't believe me either. That night he stood at the doorway, watching me prepare the room like I always did, checking corners, tightening curtains, placing the salt beneath the pillow. He didn't ask why. He was done asking. "Sophie," he said quietly, "I'm going to sleep there tomorrow. I'm done sleeping on couches and mats like a visitor." My throat closed. "David, please. I need answers." I walked past him, pretending not to tremble. "We'll talk tomorrow." But deep down, I knew talking wouldn't be enough. David was growing desperate, frustrated, and suspicious, and people who feel controlled start to rebel. I felt the cold ache in my chest as I left the room. Because tomorrow he would test the bed. And the bed never lets a first attempt go unrecognized. At 2:07 a.m. the sound yanked me out of sleep, deep, slow, steady. A pressure rising and falling like lungs, like breathing. The bed. I sat up instantly, my heart pounding against my ribs. The room was dark, except for the faint moonlight drawing pale lines across the duvet. I stared at the mattress, terrified to blink. There it was again. A lift. A fall. A slow, unnatural exhale. David shifted on the couch beside me, still unconscious. He didn't hear it, he never heard it. Whatever lived in that bed didn't bother him. Yet. I got up quietly and approached the mattress. I shouldn't have, I knew better, but fear makes you foolish. "Not tonight," I whispered, voice trembling. "Please, not tonight." The breathing stopped abruptly. Then, a soft whisper curled from the left side. "Sophie." I froze. The whisper came again, dragging itself out of the air like a voice that didn't belong to anything alive. "Sophie." I backed away, bile rising in my throat. Then David stirred. "Sophie." I snapped around. "You're awake." He sat up, rubbing his eyes. "Who are you talking to?" I swallowed hard. "No one, just praying." At 2 a.m. in front of the bed. I couldn't answer. He stood slowly, suspicion tightening his face. Are you hiding someone? Is that what this is about? Is that why you won't let me near the bed? I felt like fainting. David, no, that's not. Before I could finish, the bed gave one final creak, loud enough for him to hear it. He turned sharply toward it and started walking. David approached the bed with the stubbornness that made me fall in love with him, and the same stubbornness that now threatened to destroy us. Sophie, something is going on here, he said. I'm not stupid. I reached out, grabbing his wrist. Please don't touch it. Why? His voice cracked. Why are you acting like this bed is cursed? Because it is. But I only whispered, it's complicated. Then simplify it for me. His jaw tightened. Because right now it feels like you're hiding something big, something about your past. That hurt. He thought this was about guilt or infidelity. If only it were that simple. I'm protecting you, I said. From what? A squeaky mattress. His laugh was sharp and humorless. He pulled his hand away from me and lifted one corner of the duvet, the left side. My stomach dropped. David, stop. No, please. I have every right to check my own bed. I felt tears flood my eyes. David, please, I'm begging you. He paused then, staring at me, really staring, searching my face for answers he couldn't find. Then he whispered, are you afraid of the left side? My breath caught. He had no idea how right he was. Before I could reply, the bed let out a deep, dragging groan, like something shifting beneath the mattress. David's eyes widened. What the hell was that? I grabbed his arm again. Please, please don't open it. But he had already made up his mind. I'm checking that frame tomorrow morning, he said coldly. The next morning arrived with tension heavy enough to choke me. David didn't speak to me during breakfast. He didn't look at me either. He was saving his anger for the bed. When he finally walked into the bedroom, I followed helplessly. He lifted the pillow. The salt packet I had tucked there for protection slid out like a confession. He stared at it for a long, dangerous moment. Sophie, what is this? It's just protection, I whispered. From what? I closed my eyes. From something that follows me. He dropped the salt. What does that even mean? He reached for the left edge of the mattress again. I grabbed it first, pushing it down. David, stop. No more, he said. Either I know the truth today or I strip this whole bed apart. The fear in my chest sharpened like claws. I couldn't let him open that frame. Suddenly, the salt on the floor scattered. Not spilled. Not knocked over. Scattered into a perfect circle. David stepped back. What is happening? I whispered the words I tried not to say. It doesn't want you here. David left the room without another word, but his silence cut sharper than any argument. I sat on the edge of the cursed bed, careful not to touch the left side, and tried to steady my breathing. I needed a plan. I needed to keep him away from this mattress for one more night, but before I could gather myself, I heard the front door open. Sophie. Mrs. Sampson's voice echoed through the house. Of all the people I didn't want to see today, she was number one on the list. Not because I disliked her, but because she always sensed things I tried to hide. She walked into the room, eyes sharp as knives and twice as cold. David called me. He said something strange is happening here. I faked a smile. It's nothing, just newlywed stress. She stepped closer, ignoring my lie completely. I can smell secrets, Sophie, and something in this room is very wrong. I stiffened. I don't know what you're talking about. Mrs. Sampson turned slowly toward the bed. She didn't touch it, didn't sit, didn't even lean, but her expression hardened. This bed, she murmured, has weight. My skin crawled. She felt it. Even though the presence was silent at that moment, she felt the heaviness that clung to this room like damp air. What did you bring into this house? She asked quietly. I didn't bring anything, I whispered. It followed me. She stared at me for a long moment, then she stepped back. Call a pastor, a prophet, somebody who understands the other side. I can handle it, I insisted. No, you can't, she replied. And if David touches that bed, he won't be the same man tomorrow. I swallowed hard. Please don't tell him that. She looked at me with an expression I couldn't read: fear, judgment, pity. "I won't," she said, "but he will feel it soon." As she walked out, the bed creaked softly behind me, as if acknowledging her presence and promising something for later. That night, I refused to sleep. I sat upright on the couch beside David while he snored softly, unaware of the danger hovering less than 5 feet away. At exactly 1:49 a.m., the air shifted. A pressure settled in the room, heavy, familiar. My pulse quickened. It was awake again. The mattress made a faint indent, the left side sinking as if someone invisible had taken a seat. Then the whisper came. Soft, wet, drawn out. "Suofi." I shut my eyes, willing it to disappear. But it didn't. "Suofi, come here." My breath trembled. I tried to stay still, but the sound slithered inside my ears like ice water. I forced myself to look. There was no body. No shadow. Just the dip in the mattress, deepening. "Leave me alone," I whispered. The whisper changed suddenly, lower, harsher. "Come back." The voice I had hoped never to hear again. I stood abruptly, shaking. "No, not again." David stirred. "Sophie, who are you talking to?" I turned quickly. "No one." He frowned. "You keep doing this. Mum thinks something is wrong with you. I'm starting to think so too." "David, please don't get involved." He rubbed his face with frustration. "You don't decide that. I live here, and I sleep on that bed tomorrow." "No." The word ripped out too loudly. David's eyes widened. "Why are you so afraid of me touching the left side? What happened there? Who slept there before?" My mouth dried completely. Before I could respond, the voice whispered again. But this time, David heard it. His entire body froze. Then he whispered. "Sophie," that was a man's voice. David leapt off the couch so fast he nearly tripped. "Who is in this room with us?" "No one," I whispered. His eyes were wide and wild. "I heard someone call your name, a man. Sophie, who the hell is in this house?" My stomach knotted. Telling him the truth would break him, but lies would only buy me time. "It was the neighbor's TV," I said quickly. "At 2 a.m., he snapped. I had no answer. He pointed toward the bed. "Did someone die here? Is that what this is? A ghost, a curse, what is it?" "David, calm down." "I can't calm down," he shouted. "I feel like I'm losing my mind." I moved closer, touching his arm. "Please, let me handle it. I've dealt with it for years." That only made things worse. His face twisted with confusion and betrayal. "Years? You've been dealing with this for years, and you brought it into our marriage." Tears strung my eyes. "I didn't bring it, it followed." He shook his head. No, I'm done sleeping on that couch. Tomorrow night I sleep on that bed." "David." "No, I'm taking my position back in my own house." He stormed toward the door. I grabbed him from behind, desperate. "You don't understand, it wants you now." He froze. Those words slipped out before I could stop them. Slowly he turned. "Why would it want me?" My chest tightened. I couldn't tell him the real reason, not yet. So I lied again. "I just don't want to lose you." He looked at me with a mixture of anger, fear, and confusion. "Then tell me the truth." But I couldn't, not now. He walked out and slammed the door behind him. I sank onto the couch, shaking. The bed creaked behind me, mocking me. As if saying, "Tomorrow." I couldn't keep him safe forever, and the next night proved it. David insisted we sleep in the bedroom together, even though he stayed on the couch. "I'm not leaving you alone with whatever this is," he said. "Not again." His attempt at protection warmed something in me, but also terrified me. If he stayed close enough, it would notice him. Around 3:12 a.m., I woke with a jolt. The room was colder than a freezer. My breath fogged out in front of me. No, not tonight. I turned toward the bed. And froze. A shadow sat at the foot of the mattress, solid enough to block the moonlight, dark enough to have shape. Shoulders, a head, a back that hunched slightly. It wasn't looking at me. It was looking at David. I felt my soul drop. "Do," I whispered. "Don't look at him, take me instead." The shadow didn't move. Then the mattress dipped violently, as if something heavy had crawled up to the center. David groaned in his sleep. His leg twitched. "No," I rushed toward him. Just as I reached him, he shot upright, panicked, gasping for air. "Sophie," something sat beside me. I grabbed his face with trembling hands. "What did you feel?" He stared ahead, shaking. A weight, like someone perched on the couch, right next to my leg. My heart cracked open. It had noticed him. Before I could reassure him. The shadow shifted again, this time directly behind him. I yanked him away instinctively. He stumbled, terrified. "Sophie, what the hell is in this house?" I looked at the bed. The shadow was gone, but the depression on the left side remained. And the whisper curled through the room. "David." By morning, David refused to speak to me. He wasn't angry anymore, he was scared. And fear made him silent, distant, unpredictable. I needed help, someone who knew how this began, someone who knew the truth before I met David. So I called Mrs. Sewell. She came within an hour, her expression tight the moment she entered the room. She didn't greet me, she didn't ask questions. She went straight to the bed. She stood beside it for a long, disturbing moment. Then she whispered, "It's stronger now." My heart dropped, I know. She turned to me sharply. "You should have burned this bed years ago, why didn't you?" Tears pricked my eyes. I tried, it wouldn't burn. She sighed deeply. "And now you've brought a man into the center of it." "I didn't know it would follow me," I said. "You knew enough," she snapped. "You knew sleeping on the left side was forbidden." I swallowed hard. "It only wants me, or at least it used to." Mrs. Sewell stepped closer, lowering her voice. "It's shifting, choosing, it's watching David now." I felt sick. Then she looked toward the door. "Does he know anything?" "No, and he won't listen." She gave me a long, sad stare. "If he lies on that bed, especially the left side, he won't wake up the same." My knees weakened. What do I do? "Stop him," she said simply. "Even if you have to lie, even if you have to fight." Before she left, she whispered something that made every hair on my body rise. "The bed remembers him." I froze. "Him who?" She didn't answer. She only walked away, leaving me with the horrifying question. Who else did this bed know? I barely slept. By dawn my eyes were heavy, but the memory of David's restless tossing kept replaying in my mind. As I prepared breakfast, I heard the same soft footsteps from our bedroom, slow, dragging, almost hesitant. "David," I called out. No answer. When I entered the room, he was sitting upright on the couch again, staring at the bed like it had insulted him. "She stood there again," he murmured. My chest tightened. "Who?" He turned to me slowly. "The woman who sleeps on our bed, she was touching my pillow." I swallowed hard. "David, we need to leave this house." His voice cracked. "We can't, if we leave, she will follow me." I froze. "Why do you think that?" He looked at me with a calmness that scared me more than his fear. "Because she whispered it to me." My blood ran cold. Before I could respond, the bedroom door slammed shut behind us, on its own. A shadow moved across the bed, even though nothing was there. Mrs. Sampson showed up unannounced that morning, banging on the door like she already knew something was wrong. I opened it and she brushed past me. "Where is he?" she demanded. "He's inside." She marched straight to our bedroom. David looked up startled. "Mari." "Don't speak," she snapped. "Just look at me." Their eyes locked, and something in his expression softened, almost like he recognized comfort. But then her face changed. Shock, fear, recognition. She stepped back. "It's happening again." My stomach dropped. "Again? What do you mean again?" Mrs. Sampson ignored me and grabbed David's hands. "Tell me exactly what she looks like." David whispered. "She has a scar on her cheek, a deep one." Mrs. Sampson's face turned pale. "That's not possible," she whispered. "She shouldn't be here." I stepped forward. "Who is she?" Mrs. Sampson didn't answer, she only said, "Move the bed immediately." When we lifted the mattress, something was carved into the wood frame, David's name. The carving wasn't just his name, it was a message. David, come back to me. My knees nearly buckled. What is this? Who wrote this? Mrs. Sampson looked shaken but forced her voice steady. It's her, the same spirit that haunted him years ago. I stared at her. Spirit, you mean this is not human? She gave me a tight, unwilling nod. David's past is not as simple as you think. I turned to my husband. David, what past? He buried his face in his hands. I thought she was gone, I thought she moved on. Moved on to where? I shouted. He looked up slowly, and the answer he gave was so quiet, I almost didn't hear it. Into the ground. My breath caught. Mrs. Sampson whispered. She was obsessed with him. Even death didn't free him. The lights flickered violently. The bed shifted an inch across the floor by itself. That night, Mrs. Sampson forced us to sleep in the living room, far from the bedroom. I sat beside David, trembling. David, tell me the truth, is it Julie? He flinched at the name of his ex-wife. I don't know, he whispered. I truly don't know. Mrs. Sampson cleared her throat. Julie was unstable, clingy, controlling. When David left her, she swore she'd never let him rest. I whispered, but she's dead. Mrs. Sampson shot me a sharp look. You don't understand, some souls don't stop wanting. Before I could process that, David suddenly gripped my arm. Sophie, she's here. I turned. The hallway leading to our bedroom was pitch black, darker than any normal darkness. And then I heard it, a woman humming, soft, off-key, familiar. My heart hammered. David, that's the same tune you hum when you can't sleep. He nodded, terrified. It was her lullaby for me. A faint silhouette appeared in the hallway, shaped like a woman with long hair. I shouldn't have spoken to it, but instinct took over. Who are you? I whispered into the darkness. The silhouette swayed slightly, like someone rocking. David grabbed my wrist. Don't talk to her. But I did. What do you want? The rocking stopped. A woman's voice whispered back, not loud, not clear, but directed at me. He belongs to me. My lungs froze, David's grip tightened. Mrs. Sampson rushed forward and shouted something in a language I didn't recognize. The silhouette flickered, twisted, then dissolved like smoke. The humming stopped. But just when I thought it was gone, David gasped and clutched his chest. Ma, she said something to me. What? Mrs. Sampson asked urgently. David's voice broke. She said, this is only the beginning. At that exact moment, the bedroom door creaked open on its own, inviting him back inside. The bedroom door didn't just open, it swung wide like someone was beckoning. A strange cold air seeped out of the room, brushing my skin like fingers. David, don't move, I whispered. But he was already standing, eyes glazed, body leaning forward as though being pulled. Mrs. Sampson blocked him. You're not going in there. David's voice sounded far away. She's calling me. I grabbed his arm. David, please, look at me, not the room. He blinked rapidly, then finally focused on my face. Sophie, I'm scared of her, but I'm more scared of what happens if I ignore her. A chill ran down my spine. Mrs. Sampson hissed, enough, we need help, this is beyond me. Help from who? I asked. Her silence was louder than words. Before she could answer, something heavy dropped inside the bedroom. Our bed shifted again, scraping loudly across the floor. David's breathing turned shallow. She's angry, he whispered. The bedroom light suddenly switched on by itself, and someone had drawn a fresh handprint on our pillow. I called my friend, Mrs. Sewell, because she was the only person who ever believed in spiritual things more than I did. She arrived within the hour carrying a small bag. I felt something as soon as I stepped into this compound, something old, something jealous. David kept packing. She touched my pillow again. She wants me to lie down. Mrs. Sewell pulled me aside. Sophie, you need to tell me everything, no secrets. So I did, the footsteps, the humming, the silhouette, the carved message. When I finished, she inhaled sharply. This is not an ordinary attachment. This kind of spirit binds through possession, obsession, and unfinished love. I whispered, why David? Mrs. Sewell's eyes darkened. because he gave her something she never let go of. I froze. What did he give her? His trust, she said quietly, and possibly his promise. My heart dropped. Before I could ask more, David screamed from the living room. We ran back and found him staring at the wall, where a new message had been written in faint, wet strokes. Sleep beside me. The writing started dripping blood-red liquid, even though no one touched it. Mrs. Sewell examined the dripping message. This isn't blood, it's red clay, grave clay. My stomach twisted. From where? Miss Sewell looked at Mrs. Sampson. You know exactly where. Mrs. Sampson stiffened, refusing to meet anyone's eyes. David whispered, just say it. Mrs. Sampson swallowed. It's the clay from Julie's burial site. I felt like the room tilted. You mean Julie is the one doing this? Mrs. Sampson finally spoke the truth. We never told you this because we thought it wouldn't matter after marriage, but Julie didn't die peacefully. She died calling David's name. David stumbled back. No, Ma, stop. She begged for you, screamed for you. Mrs. Sampson's voice trembled. And that kind of death doesn't sleep. Before anyone else could speak, the lights flickered violently, then went completely dark. David whispered in the darkness, she's behind me. A cold breath brushed the back of my neck, but David was standing in front of me. I spun around ready to scream, but nothing was there, just darkness, heavy, thick. Mrs. Sewell lit a candle from her bag. The moment the flame rose, David jerked backward as if something invisible had slapped him. Stop touching him, I yelled into the darkness. A soft laugh answered, a woman's laugh, broken, echoing. Mrs. Sewell whispered urgently, she's in this room, Sophie, she's not just haunting, she's interacting. Then David's body stiffened, his eyes rolled upward. His voice turned deeper, layered like two people speaking at once. She wants what is hers. I grabbed him. David, fight her. He stared at me, but his eyes were no longer his. They took me from her, you took me from her. My throat tightened. I didn't take anything, he chose me. The room grew colder. She doesn't care, Mrs. Sewell said. That kind of spirit doesn't understand choice, only ownership. David's shoulders dropped, and he whispered something that broke me inside. She says she's ready for me to lie down now. The candle suddenly blew out, yet no wind touched us. Darkness swallowed everything. I felt David slip from my grasp. No, I lunged forward, arms outstretched. David. My hands found his shirt, then something yanked him backward with unnatural strength. Mrs. Sewell shouted, don't let him go. We pulled together, but it felt like wrestling with a force that wasn't human. My heart pounded as I screamed his name over and over. Then suddenly the pulling stopped. David collapsed into our arms, gasping. Mrs. Sewell whispered, she tried to drag him to the bed, she needs him lying down, that's the doorway. I shook violently, so if he sleeps on that bed. She'll claim him, Mrs. Sewell finished. My blood turned to ice. Mrs. Sampson whispered, we must destroy the bed before nightfall. But as we headed toward the room, the door slammed shut with a deafening bang, locking itself. And then the mattress inside began rising, floating, as if someone invisible was lying down on it. A voice whispered behind the door. He will sleep beside me tonight. The room felt smaller, air heavier. Mrs. Sampson's hands shook as she examined the floating mattress. You've underestimated her, she said quietly, almost to herself. Julie, she's not just a spirit, she's bound to him, to his very being. I swallowed hard, so she's been waiting for him all this time. She's waited, yes, and now she's growing impatient. That bed isn't just furniture, it's a bridge. Once he lies down, she will pull him through. David stepped closer, voice trembling. Sophie, is this true? Could she take me? Yes, I whispered, holding his hand tightly. That's why I've fought her for years. That's why I begged you to stay away from the left side. His face paled. And you knew all this before we married. I tried to stop it, I said, tears stinging my eyes. But nothing works unless we fight together. Mrs. Sampson turned to me stern. Tonight we act, you must face her before he does, or it will be too late. As she spoke, the bed creaked violently, the mattress dipping under invisible weight, and I felt a hand press against my shoulder from behind. yet no one was there. The temperature dropped sharply, and I shivered uncontrollably. Frost formed on the windowpanes even though it was midsummer. David wrapped his arms around me instinctively. This isn't normal. It's not, I said, forcing my voice steady. She's angry, she feels our presence and she knows she's losing control. Suddenly the room was silent, except for the bed. The left side sagged once more, then slowly began to rise, hovering an inch above the floor. David's jaw tightened. She's moving it. I told you, I said. She's not human, she doesn't just haunt, she manipulates. Mrs. Sewell whispered an incantation under her breath. The mattress trembled violently, then dropped back down, sending a sharp crack through the room. David grabbed my hand. Sophie, what do we do? I swallowed. We prepare, she will come for him tonight. The shadows in the corners of the room stretched unnaturally, curling around us. A low whisper echoed, chilling me to the bone. She cannot save him. I sank to the floor, gripping David's hand so tightly my nails bit into his skin. I've been keeping him safe for so long, I thought I could protect him forever. David knelt beside me. From what, Sophie? What is this? Why didn't you tell me? Tears streamed down my face. Because I couldn't. I didn't want to lose you before she even tried to take you. I didn't want to break your mind before she could touch your body. He pulled me close. I don't care, we'll face this together, just tell me what to do. I swallowed the sob that threatened to escape. You can't, not yet, not until you understand. The left side of that bed, it's a doorway. She waits there, she whispers. She will tempt you to lie down, and if you do. David's face paled. Yes, I whispered. She wants to pull you through, that's all she's ever wanted. The bed creaked again, louder than ever, as if in response. A shadow stretched across the wall, forming the shape of a woman with long, flowing hair, and she was pointing at David. I whispered David's name in desperation, trying to anchor him. You're safe, just stay with me, don't listen to her. The shadow shifted and a voice hissed from the darkness. David, come back to me. I froze, that voice, that tone, it was unmistakable, Julie, my husband's ex-wife. David's breathing hitched. It's her. Yes, I said, trembling. And she wants you lying down, don't do it, David, please. He gripped my arms. I hear her, Sophie, she's saying my name, she's begging. I shook my head, whispering prayers I barely remembered. No, she doesn't get you, she can't have you, not today. The shadows around the room thickened, curling into the corners. The faint scent of clay filled my nose, the same grave clay Mrs. Sewell warned me about. Suddenly a cold hand gripped David's wrist, and he didn't pull away. I finally knew I couldn't hold the secret any longer. David, there's something I never told you, something that happened before we met. He looked at me, frightened. What is it? I slept on a bed like this years ago. It was my grandmother. It was cursed. I brought something back with me, something that followed me. And I thought if I stayed away from it, I could control it. David's eyes widened. You knew this would happen. I tried to warn you, I tried to protect you. I never meant to trap you in it. He shook his head slowly. Why didn't you say anything before marriage? Because I wanted a normal life. I wanted you, I never wanted to scare you away. I thought I could keep it contained. The bed groaned loudly behind us. I felt the familiar weight of a presence press against the left side. I looked back, David's eyes were fixed on the mattress, and suddenly the left side dipped as if inviting him. David's jaw tightened as he stared at the mattress. You lied to me, he said, voice shaking. All this time you kept this from me. I tried to protect you, I shouted. I didn't want her to claim you. He shook his head. You should have told me, I could have helped. No, you wouldn't have believed me. You'd have thought I was crazy, I screamed. The bed creaked sharply behind us. The left side dipped slowly, deliberately. David froze. I feel pressure. Something is on the mattress. I grabbed his arm. Please don't even look at it. He ignored me. I need to know the truth. I can't stay blind anymore. I swallowed hard. If you touch it, it won't let you go. The mattress shifted violently, and a shadow moved across the floor, pointing directly at David. David bent over, lifting the mattress slightly. I tried to stop him, but his hands were steady, determined. Beneath the frame he found a small wooden box. Inside an object glimmered faintly, a ring. What is this? He whispered. I froze. Give it back, don't touch it. He lifted it. The moment his fingers brushed the ring, a cold wind rushed through the room. Papers flew, curtains whipped, and the bed creaked as if alive. David staggered back. I felt something cold like a hand grabbed me. I shook my head violently. That's it, that's what I've been trying to stop, it's already noticed you. The mattress sank lower, as if someone invisible was lying down, waiting. Mrs. Sampson stepped forward. Enough, we must see inside the frame, only then will we know how to protect him. David hesitated, gripping my hand. I don't want to see it. It's too late to avoid it, she said firmly. Together we lifted the frame. Inside, the wood was carved with names, David's, Julie's, and others I didn't recognize. Symbols swirled around the edges, dark and ancient. David swallowed hard. What does this mean? It's a record, Mrs. Sampson whispered. A memory of those claimed, those she's tried to bind to her. The carvings glowed faintly. A whisper filled the room. Come. David's eyes widened. She's calling me. A figure rose from the mattress, dark, tall, impossible, and faced him directly. The figure solidified in front of David, a woman, long hair flowing, pale skin, Julie, or at least her essence. David staggered backward. I don't understand how. She never left, I said softly, voice trembling. She's bound to this bed, she's been waiting for you all these years. Julie's figure smiled faintly, eyes glowing with obsession. It's finally your turn, she whispered. David grabbed my hand, desperate. Sophie, help me, I can't do this alone. I pressed my palm to his chest. You're not alone, you have me. The shadow shifted closer. The room's temperature dropped sharply. Julie's lips moved, forming a silent word, and David flinched as if struck. I closed my eyes, forcing myself to speak. David, the first time she tried to claim someone like this, it almost destroyed me. She doesn't care about love, only ownership. She'll take your body, your mind, everything. That's why I fought to keep you away. David's voice trembled. So all this, the fear, the warnings, it wasn't paranoia. No, I whispered. It's real, and if you lie down on that left side, she will take you. He stared at the bed, conflicted. And you've been living with this. Yes, I survived by avoiding it, by keeping the bed empty. Julie's presence seemed to ripple in the air, curling like smoke. Her glow pulsed toward David. I can feel her, he whispered. She wants me. I grabbed him tightly. No, not tonight, I won't let her have you. The bed shifted violently, the mattress rising slightly, as if it were breathing, and Julie's shadow reached out toward him. The bed groaned, louder than ever, as if it had grown impatient. Julie's shadow leaned over David, and I could feel the weight pressing down, not physically but deep in my chest, like the air itself had turned to stone. Mrs. Sewell grabbed my shoulders. This is it, Sophie. If he goes down, she'll take him completely. David's eyes darted between me and the bed. I don't know if I can resist. I shook my head violently. Yes, you can, you're stronger than her, you're stronger than anything, but you have to trust me. The shadow's glow pulsed, reaching toward him like molten light. Julie's lips moved silently, but the whisper filled my mind. Come, lie down. David clenched his fists. I feel drawn, I can't fight it. I pressed my hand against his chest. Fight it, fight with everything, I'm here, I will not let her have you. The mattress lifted fully off the floor as Julie's shadow leaned down completely. And a hand, pale and trembling, hovered inches from David's shoulder. I stepped forward, voice trembling but loud. Julie, you have no right to him. The room froze, the air thickened. Julie's shadow recoiled slightly, as if surprised that anyone dared speak to her. I won't let you touch him, I shouted. Not now, not ever. David gritted his teeth. Sophie, I feel like I'm losing control. Mrs. Sewell started chanting in a language I didn't understand, her voice weaving around the room. The air shimmered. Julie hissed, recoiling, but the bed remained floating, her power still thick. I pressed my hand over my heart, whispering prayers under my breath, calling everything I had learned from my grandmother, from my fears, from every desperate attempt I'd ever made. Julie's figure lunged, reaching toward David. I felt her hand brush his arm, and electricity shot through the room, knocking all of us off our feet. I scrambled to my knees, gasping for air. Mrs. Sewell, what do we do? She held a small vial, shimmering with a faint golden liquid. This, Only this will push her back, but it must touch the left side of the mattress. David looked at me. I can't move toward it, I shook my head. No, you won't, I will do this, I will face her. I approached the bed slowly, feeling every pulse of energy Julie sent at me, every icy whisper in my ears. He's mine, he's mine. I poured the liquid along the left side, tracing a line across the frame. The moment it touched the wood, the mattress lurched violently and Julie shrieked, a sound like breaking glass. David called my name, terrified. I didn't answer. I held the line steady, chanting, praying, pouring every ounce of myself into the battle. Julie's shadow writhed, then screamed one final word, forever. The wind stopped, the temperature returned to normal. The shadow shrank, twisting, then dissolved completely. The mattress dropped with a soft thud, motionless. David staggered toward me. Is it gone? I shook, trembling, but finally nodded. It's gone for now. Mrs. Sewell placed her hand on my shoulder. For now, yes, but spirits like her never truly vanish. She's weakened. She's no longer a threat unless the bed is ever touched again on the left side. David sank to the floor beside me, shaking. I can't believe it, I almost. You almost fell, I whispered. But you didn't, you're here, and that's what matters. Mrs. Sampson entered quietly, looking at the bed. Destroy it tomorrow, burn it, smash it, whatever you must, nothing like this should ever exist in a home again. I nodded, exhausted. I will, I swear. As we left the room, the mattress shifted one last time, a soft sigh escaping from the left side. Morning sunlight streamed into the room. The air smelled of fresh linen, ordinary and safe. David and I sat on the couch, holding hands, both of us too exhausted to speak. I thought I would lose you, he said quietly. You didn't, I whispered. We faced her together. David exhaled slowly, finally relaxing. I don't know how to thank you, for protecting me, for fighting. I shook my head. No thanks needed, I love you, that's why I fought. Mrs. Sampson, Mrs. Sewell, and I discussed the destruction of the bed. By nightfall it was gone, reduced to ashes outside, buried deep with protective charms around the site. David looked at me, still shaken. Do you think she's really gone? I hugged him close. I hope so, but some things never fully disappear. What matters is that we survived, and now we have each other. The wind whispered through the window, soft and warm. A reminder that life goes on, but the bed, the shadow, and the obsession were finally at rest, for now.